Welcome to Previews Reviews, coming to you from Stadium Comics, located in Shoppers World Mall in beautiful Brampton, Ontario. Here are your hosts, Kevin Hickey and Ricky Lima.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this edition of Previews Reviews, covering comic books coming out in July 2012. And we're coming to you from Stadium Comics in beautiful Brampton, Ontario, Canada, the center of all things, the origin of all things, and the place where Ricky and I were born.
Yeah, the most important gem in the Infinity Gauntlet.
That's
where we are.
Very topical there, Ricky, and very timely.
Or like the reality gem, I guess.
Now, spoilers for anybody who's out there. That
anyone watching the show probably already knows.
I hope so. That Ricky's best friend Thanos shows up in the Avengers movie. And I know you're very happy about that.
Also, fun fact that I just kind of learned, the gem on the end of Loki's staff, the mind gem.
Is it really?
That's what I heard, yeah. Crazy,
that
right?
Totally,
blows your mind.
I totally didn't even think about that during the whole thing.
Although, it went through the heart, so it might have been another gem, but I'm pretty sure what he had was like part of the Infinity Gauntlet. Whoa.
I gotta go back and rewatch it. It did 100... Okay, so first weekend it did like 200 and something $million at the box office. Second weekend, still did over 100 million. It's nuts.
A lot of people are watching it like multiple times.
Yeah, like I've talked to a few people who have watched it once in regular format, once in IMAX format, once in 3D, and then once in 3D IMAX.
Like, it was good, but it's not that good. Like, whoa.
Like, I'll go see it maybe a second time, you know, a few months down the road when it's playing in one of those discount theaters where you're never sure quite what that sticky stuff on the floor is.
It's like people in the corner making it.
Or what those stains are on the back of the seats. You just don't know. But, you know, you pay your $2.99 and take your
obviously,
chances.
these theaters are not in Brampton, right?
No, not in the Crown Gem. What did you call it? The
Crown Gem of the Infinity
Gauntlet? No, definitely not. Well, let's get to the comics, Ricky. July is going to be a good month for comics, I think. And we'll get it started with Axe Cop, President of the World, #1. Axe Cop has been appointed President of the whole world. But what will Axe Cop and his friends do in a world with no bad guys? Look to defeat the bad guys from outer space, of course. Written by 8-year-old Malachi Nicole and drawn by his 31-year-old brother, Ethan Nicole, Axe Cop is Commander-in-Chief of hilarious adventures as only a kid could imagine. My first bone of contention with this book is that they assume that the person in control of the whole world would adhere to the American system of government, which is, you know, you got your presidential branch, your judicial branch, and your legislative branch, whereas I believe that we would be much more headed towards a constitutional monarchy type of government, where you have a figurehead of state such as the Queen or King that would control the world, and then a series of prime ministers, you know, that would kind of oversee things.
If only this 8-year-old child had a political science degree.
I know, right?
If only.
He should read up on some of those systems of government.
He really should. So is this a print exclusive?
It is a print exclusive. Axe Cop, as many of you out there know, started out as a webcomic. It's offered for free online in black and white. They update it, I think, every week. And this is a print exclusive in color. And it picks up right where the last print exclusive, Axe Cop, Bad Guy Earth, left off.
That was a good one. Yeah,
it was really good, really funny stuff. And this is an awesome example of how webcomics and print comics can coexist together and, you know, complement each other at the same time.
Though I find this series to be a ticking time bomb. Because, like, I mean...
Oh, definitely.
At any second, this kid could be like, don't want to do it anymore. Or he'd be like, okay, I still want to do it, but it just sucks. Because he's, you know, as he gets older, he's just going to get crappy.
Or at some point, he just, like, starts studying the craft of writing. And, like, you know, becomes the next Frank Miller or something.
Well,
and then just launches into racial epitaphs and whatnot.
So I mean, I'm gonna read this, but I'm a little cautious because 8 years old, you're getting kind of lame.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do they start, like, dumbing down his ideas to make it still, like, whatever he was, 5 or 6 when they started this? At what point does his brother go, okay, that's a really cool idea. Let's apply it to what 6-year-old Malachi would think. He's like, let's and make really dumb it down.
So he could never live up to his past self. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's kind of scary.
It's quite a paradox.
He's peaked at 6.
I know.
This kid.
I know. Some of his best work. But this looks really exciting, and I can't wait to pick it up. All right.
Next, we have He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe return to comics in an all-new miniseries. Skeletor strikes with his master plan to rule Eternia. Can Adam and the Masters of the Universe remember what Eternia was like in time to save it?
Good question.
I'm confused. What happens in this?
Essentially, from what I've read online, is Skeletor has discovered a way to reshape reality.
Right.
Maybe some sort of
gem?
Eternia cosmic cube or gem. I don't know. But he's discovered a way to reshape reality, and in this new altered reality, he places himself at in the throne at Castle Grayskull, and He-Man and all of his buddies are now just like peasants in the kingdom.
Okay.
And they have some recollection of what their past life was through dreaming and stuff like that, but they think that it's just a dream, and that there's not too much else.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a 6-issue miniseries. And it is He-Man's return to DC Comics after his first comic debut ever was in 1982's DC Comics Presents, where Superman made it all the way to Eternia, and on the cover he's being magically controlled by Skeletor to beat up He-Man.
Right, because Superman's allergic to magic.
Yeah, that's his one weakness is magic and kryptonite, of course.
Well, kryptonite is a little iffy.
Yeah.
And I guess red suns. Oh man, Superman's got.
He's got a lot of weaknesses.
Superman, more like
not so super.
Yeah.
Not so Superman.
But that's cool. I actually am excited, and I think I'll pick this up.
Now, I would like to see an adaptation in comic form of the 1987 movie He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, or just Masters of the Universe. It was called. Did you ever see that one?
No.
Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. Courtney Cox was in it. There was this like dwarf guy playing some time traveling keyboard device.
No.
Check it out,
dude.
Great 80s fare if you're ever looking to watch some cheesy 80s movies. Masters of the Universe, right up there.
Kevin, I think you love the 80s too much.
I do. Well, it's such a cool premise. Like He-Man comes to our Earth, and like Skeletor and all of them like follow him here.
I guess that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like Howard the Duck, but with He-Man. Next up, we have Transformers Regeneration One, issue 81. And you may be thinking to yourself, why are we talking about an 81st issue? We usually cover issue 1s.
Right.
Well, let me just read the description to you. The Transformers comic that began it all is back, with a vengeance. 21 years have passed since Cybertron was restored to its former glory, and finally there is peace. But after millions of years of bitter civil war, can all ever truly be won? In a conflict this primal, this epic, and far-reaching, there is always loose ends. Now, the cool thing about this book is it picks up right where the Transformers series from the 80s and early 90s from Marvel Comics left off. So that was an 80-issue series. This is issue 81. Issues 77 to 80, there was a big epic battle with Unicron, where the Transformers and the Decepticons kind of had to join, a team together to battle Unicron, and then the book ended. It's much in the same way that IDW continued G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, from the early Marvel Comics edition of that about a year ago or so too.
Cool. Well, I mean, I don't know. I never really watched Transformers.
Okay.
But this idea seems kind of interesting. I like the idea that 21 years later they get the same team together. Do you think it'll live up to what they were doing before?
I think so. And you just brought up an interesting point that I forgot to mention, that the team that was working on that last story arc is the exact same team that they're bringing on to launch this title, and renew it again. Which is really cool that they were able to get the whole team together. The writer, the artist, the inker, guy who brought them coffee. I heard he's back. The prostitute that they used on a regular basis. She's 21 years older, but with that 21 years comes a lot more experience. So that's a plus.
So she'd be at least like 40.
Yeah, but I mean they've aged as well, so it's all relative.
I guess. Maybe that part of the team they can get someone new.
Maybe. Now, issue 80.5, which was a prequel to all this, was released on Free Comic Book Day just recently on May the 5th.
What? Free Comic Book Day?
Yeah.
What is that? No.
Well, there's video coming on all that.
Oh, watch it.
Ricky shot lots of footage. Do you think that this would bring original collectors of the comic back into the fold?
I think they come to pick up 81. Right. But then I think you'd see tapering off after that.
Now, let's say you were a guy who collected Transformers comics back in the late 80s, early 90s, and you spent all this time meticulously gathering each and every issue, and you had a complete run up to issue 80, and you were like, that's it, I got my 80 issues, I'm out. Are you pissed off now that they're coming out with issue 81, and basically continuing the series?
Well, I guess so, because it had such a clear ending.
Right.
Right? Like, the piece on Cybertron. And, like, now it's like, how, like, what? All of a sudden, Unicron pops up again, and he's like, suckers! And starts, like, stabbing people.
Maybe.
Yeah, see, I don't know, it seems forced.
Well, we did mention that last story arc where they fought Unicron. That's being reprinted as well and offered in the same month. Under the title of the Regeneration One 100-page spectacular. So they're going to reprint those issues before the new issue comes out.
The Walking Dead number 100! Flyers, streamers.
Yeah, another non-issue number 1.
Oh,
what's going on?
Breaking the mold here, breaking the mold. Alright, so, Something to Fear continues. This extra-sized chapter contains one of the darkest moments in Rick Grimes' life, and one of the most violent and brutal things to happen within the pages of the series. 100 issues later, this series remains just as relentless as the debut issue. Do not miss the monumental 100th issue of The Walking Dead. Oh,
whoa.
Oh, whoa.
They're really enticing us there.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I'm really surprised that it's actually hit issue 100. The last series that I knew to do that was Why the Last Man that hit 100?
No, that didn't even hit 100.
That was what?
That was 60-something?
60, that's right. So what was the last series that hit 100?
I mean, apart from like superhero series, I wouldn't even know.
How about Image?
Maybe Hellblazer.
Yeah.
Hellblazer's well into the 200s right now.
I guess Spawn.
But
yeah, congratulations on that.
Big achievement from The Walking Dead. Issue 1 came out in 2003, and if you owned it today, would be worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if it were, came back at a good grade. They're producing 10 covers in total for this 100th issue. One of them will be a wrap cover. One of them will be a chromium wrap cover, which will have a cover price of $9.99. And I believe it's just a wrap cover, but looking like all metallic and silver. It's the 90s all over again, folks. Really. And then there's a bunch of covers by some of the industry's like greatest artists. We have Todd McFarlane doing a Walking Dead cover, which is going to be awesome to see. Mark Silvestri is going to be doing one. Frank Quitely.
Which I found out it's not his real name. What?
Frank Quitely?
Yeah.
No, it's a take on Quite Frankly.
What?
You didn't know that?
That's crazy. It's nuts.
What is his real name?
I have no idea.
John Smith. No, I don't know.
That's nuts. I don't know if I'd be comfortable like people commenting on my work under a different name. I don't know.
I think he should be proud of his work and
right.
put it out under his name. But I mean, Banksy doesn't do that. So.
Yeah, well, Banksy, right?
There's also going to be a 1 in 200 variant, which is going to be a black and white sketch cover and going to be very in demand, I think.
Who's doing that, the sketch cover?
I believe it's the series artist, Charlie Adlard.
Nice.
One thing that's sad to note is none of these 10 covers will be done by Tony Moore. And, of course, I guess there's some legal issues right now between Tony Moore and Robert Kirkman, but Tony Moore was the guy who started the series with Kirkman, and he did the first story arc plus God knows how many covers for the first little while. But yeah, They're currently in legal proceedings, I think.
So what do you think as a retailer of these 10 covers? Is it overkill too much?
I think the 10 covers are going to be cool.
Yeah.
I get a little worried whenever I see whenever I see publishers putting out 10 covers, because it starts to remind me of stuff like X-Men #1 back in the 90s, which I wasn't a retailer then, I was just a kid. But I don't want to see anybody get burned out.
Right. Yeah.
And when I see 10 covers being made, I think that there's danger of people being burned out. But, I mean, that being said, Walking Dead is hot right now. Lots of people are coming into the store hunting for back issues. Sales of back issues are going nuts on eBay. People are getting all kinds of crazy amounts of money for them. So I can see this being a legitimate collector's item for the time being.
Right. But I mean, like you were saying about getting burnt out, like, people only really get burnt out because they are, they have addictive personalities and they can't stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, I don't like the publisher is just trying to make money, and it's these people who are like spending all this money and then looking back and be like, why did I spend all this money?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, because you're an idiot.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to call our customers idiots, Ricky.
No, I'm saying like these like crazy people who think they're gonna make millions and millions of dollars off.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. And like something like The Walking Dead is definitely holding value now, issue to issue, and I think that it would be an okay investment for somebody to own all the covers of this book. But somebody like me, who's not so much considered with value and more considered with an entertaining story, or just being a completist and having every issue just because, not because I ever want to sell it, but just out of the satisfaction that I have every cover. That's why I'd be looking at it.
We love you guys, and I want to kiss all of you.
Where I will start to get scared is if books start coming out and have like the big banner on the top or explode, or like
collector's item,
first issue. Then we're in trouble. Then we might as well sell the store and close the doors because the crash is coming.
Yeah.
When you have to advertise to somebody that they need to be picking this up just because it's a collector's issue, that's where I start to get worried. Pick it up because the story is awesome. Pick it up because the art is awesome. This one in particular, issue 100, there's all kinds of rumors about what's going to happen in the book. They refer to it as being one of the darkest moments ever. So, like, what's going to happen? Is Carl going to die?
He gets cancer.
Carl gets cancer? That would suck.
Right?
If you get cancer. Has anybody in The Walking Dead got cancer since the zombie outbreak came? Maybe the zombie outbreak cured cancer. Maybe nobody gets cancer anymore.
Maybe.
I don't know. But, like, some people are even saying Rick's going to die.
Not me. Oh.
No, well, not you, but Rick Grimes. But how crazy would that be if they killed off the series star? I mean, they made it very clear from the beginning that nobody is safe in this book. So don't put it past Robert Kirkman to do something major with some of the characters.
It takes Robert Hollywood Kirkman 100 issues to finally, grow a pair and kill the main character.
Ouch.
Hey, ever since he sold Thief and Thieves, he's gone super Hollywood.
You were calling him Hollywood way before that.
That's right.
So I give credit where credit's due.
See, that's right. Robert Hollywood Kirkman. Probably wears sunglasses everywhere he goes.
Probably. Next, we have Revival, issue 1. For one day in rural central Wisconsin, the dead came back to life. Now it's up to Officer Dana Cypress to deal with the media scrutiny, religious zealots, and government quarantine that has come with them. In a town where the living have to learn to deal with those who are supposed to be dead, Officer Cypress must solve a brutal murder, and everyone, alive or undead, is a suspect. A beautiful farm noir that puts a new twist on the zombie genre, created by New York Times bestselling author Tim Seeley and acclaimed artist Mike Norton of Battlepug fame.
Ooh, so did you put this after Walking Dead to show how ridiculous this is? Was that your goal?
I don't think it's ridiculous. I was going to ask you if you think that the whole zombie genre is done to death.
It's done.
But I think this is actually a pretty cool idea. If you dig a little deeper into it.
Are they like not zombies? Or...
They're not referring to them as zombies.
But like, are they brain dead, or are they like actually talking and articulate? Or...
Yeah, like the stuff that I read online about it suggested that people come back and start like just doing their daily routines again, like. If you had a bowling league with somebody, you showed up at the bowling alley and started bowling with them.
But is he like, can he talk to them, or is
I believe so.
Yeah?
I believe so.
Okay. I guess it's a little bit different then.
actually, I'll read you a quote from Comic Book Resources. The cause of the revival is our big, overarching law-style mystery, and the readers will follow our small-town detective as she discovers the truth, Seeley told Comic Book Resources. Our living dead are people you knew, or at least they seem to be, and their sudden reappearance is going to cause a lot of problems for her. She's going to be so busy with murders, a government quarantine, and her own family, she's going to be a bit distracted from finding out why the Undead are back, working at Mega Foods, and rejoining their old bowling leagues. Boning leagues. Whoa! Boning leagues are a whole different thing. This guy knows all about them. So I think it sounds pretty cool. And one of the questions that somebody raised online was, what happens with people who were cremated? Do they come back in some way? Or are they just like a pile of talking ashes?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, like... so,
I don't know. Like, I mean...
What about it made you think it was so ridiculous?
It's just like, oh no, the dead are back. I have to solve murders. I don't know. It's like it's been done, and I mean even Walking Dead's kind of done something like this.
Okay.
Like if you watched, I think it was like the second or third show.
Mm-hmm.
There's that part where the guy, one of the guy's wife is dead. She's a zombie, but she's still trying to get into the house because it's like she knows that this is her house and everything. So she's still like, oh.
A little bit, but I think this is going to go even further, where people are going to be full on back.
Like between this, Walking Dead, New Dead Guardians, it's like who cares? I don't give a crap.
Zombies are hot right now, man. If this were 2-3 years ago, everything would have been vampire books. You know?
They teach this in writing. If you start to write what's popular, when it's popular, then it's not popular anymore. If
Ricky,
you need to be ahead of the trend, and you need to write it before it's popular.
Ricky, this is a perfect opportunity for me to bestow upon you your next assignment.
Oh, no. Okay.
Everybody knows Ricky has an awesome segment on our channel called Writing Comics 101 with Ricky Lima. You first took on Superman and George Perez. The second time you took on the Silver Surfer.
I had some help on that one.
With the help of Adam Gorham and Fred Kennedy, the creative team behind Teuton, which check that out at Big Sexy Comics if you haven't had a chance to yet.
Plug.
Yeah. But that's your most recent one. That's up online now for everybody to watch. I think your next assignment needs to be Ricky covers the zombie genre.
Zombie genre?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. I want to know from, a professional writer such as yourself, somebody who is, head and shoulders above the rest as far when it comes to writing.
I would say body length.
Body length?
Yeah.
Body length above the rest?
Yeah.
I mean, please,
I'll see what I can
inspire us with your writing and show us how a zombie story should be done.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, we'll get back to you on that. Last book.
All right, last book. Hypernaturals #1. It is the far future. The human race has finally colonized the galaxy, preserving an era of prosperity that's only possible because of the Hypernaturals. Their celebrated galaxy-wide superhero task force that keeps the peace. That is, until they all mysteriously vanish. Now, as the galaxy teeters on the brink of chaos, it's up to the group of retired and long-forgotten Hypernaturals and their novice recruits to save the galaxy from complete destruction. Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning, the superstar writing duo behind Annihilation and the Legion, launch an all-new original series that takes cosmic superheroes to a new frontier. Experience the special preview issue of the Hypernaturals this May and pick up the #1 issue this July. Ooh, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, from Boom Studios.
Boom's really picking up the game.
They're just pouring it on, man.
Nice.
But they're pouring it on marketing-wise, but are they pouring it on quality-wise?
I just read Higher Earths, and maybe not.
Fanboys vs. Zombies.
Yeah. Well, those are Sam Humphrey books.
Yeah, Well, those are the two books that they've really put a real big push on recently.
Sam Humphreys, I don't know about that.
And when I say big push, I mean that they're offering all kinds of different variant incentives for retailers to push their order numbers up. We ordered a ton of Higher Earth and Fanboys vs. Zombies just based on how many variants they were offering to us in order to order them.
Yeah.
They've also been offering a lot of their first issue books at $1 a piece, which is great for getting people on board. I don't think that's going to be the case with Hypernaturals, though. I think that's going to be a $3.99 price point. But they did have a free comic book day preview just this last May 5th.
Oh, nice.
Of the book. And from the people that I've talked to that did pick up the book and read it, they are very excited about Hypernaturals.
Like, I'm a big fan of, like, when Marvel and DC does space stuff, like Infinity Gauntlet, Silver Surfer, Adam Warlock. I love all that stuff.
Right.
So, but Jim Starlin's probably the #1 space opera writer. Can't be
because of the Infinity
Gauntlet. Oh, he's so good. Oh, my God. It's just, so good.
So yeah, this is Boom's one of Boom's first ventures into the whole cosmic superhero type thing, and we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, there's nobody better at writing that type of comic than Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning.
Yeah, and I mean, Sam Humphries is far away from this one,
so things are looking good already.
I love how I went from like really interested in what Sam Humphries is doing to not even caring. Bad move, Sam Humphries. Bad move. That's
it for the comics this week. We do have some honorable mentions that we didn't get to discuss at length. Before Watchmen's continuing with Ozymandias issue 1. That's the only new Before Watchmen book coming out in the month of July.
And it's done by Jay Lee. I love his...
Yeah, his art is amazing.
So good.
Can't wait to see that. We've got another #1 issue from Valiant with Bloodshot issue 1.
Doesn't look as good.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good as Harbinger and Exo Manowar. I was really pleased with Exo Manowar issue 1. And we'll have to see how Harbinger does when it comes out in June. Funniest thing happened to me, though, on this past Sunday. I was working here in the store. Free comic book day had ended. Avengers had come out. And, I thought people would be coming in the store looking for Avengers stuff. This one guy comes in right off the bat first thing in the morning, and he says, "Excuse me, can you point me to where you have your Valiant back issues?" I was like, what? Nobody has ever asked me that question in all of my time here at Stadium Comics. All those Valiant books languishing in the dollar bin, crying out for attention, and this one savior comes in.
It's like a monocle on top hat. He's like, "Excuse me, sir.
Might you point me to the Valiant books?"
Oh, yes, cheerio. And you're like, "Whoa, dude."
He didn't end up buying any, though, but he was looking. He's really interested in it.
Did you show him the ones they had?
Yeah.
Can't win them all, I guess.
Yeah. From Marvel, we have the return of X-Treme X-Men with an issue 1. That's a title that hasn't been around for a few years. It's going to be a different take than the last X-Treme X-Men, which I believe ended up evolving into X-Men Legacy, if I'm not mistaken. And Space Punisher, a 4-issue miniseries. Now, Ricky, you said you love it when Marvel does space stuff.
I'm eating my words now.
Punisher in space.
Space Punisher?
Space Punisher.
Like, it's almost like Jason X, where he was in space.
Yeah.
Just killing people. What?
I think this is going to be much worse.
I'll probably pick it up. Yeah. I love bad things.
So that's it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Just a reminder, Previews is the magazine that you can order all of your pop culture merchandise out of, from comics to toys, action figures, statues, t-shirts, trading cards, name it, and it's all in here.
Yeah.
We'll see you all next time when we review Collectables coming into stores starting in July 2012. Take care. That's it.